Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's good, man? It's your boy, OK Bet, aka K Trades. You know what's going on, man. So we smacked them today. I ain't gonna lie. The game plan we went over yesterday's video, the exact game plan played out, right? If you watched the video yesterday, what did I tell y'all to watch for? I said, whatever you have to do, all you gotta do is watch the high and the low of the data candle wick. What did I say we're gonna do? We were going to sweep the high or sweep the low first and reverse. What? Literally today, as soon as we opened, oh, I'm in there. Got puts, smacked them, sold, held a few runners, got back in on here, smacked 60%, one candle. Then we kind of chilled for a little bit, got some calls over here. We played a nice little. What did we play? I think we played a few 1 DTEs, and we did also play a few 0 DTEs as well. I'll pull them up. Yeah, so we did a few. We did SPX mostly because SPY was kind of slow. So we played the calls, but then we played the puts off the rejection towards the end of the day. Let me see. This wasn't even supposed to be that big though. I wish I would have held, but you see profit, you got to take it, right? TP hit. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you can do. And this one ended up being I sold for 90% on the puts. The calls we took, I sold mine here. Same place I sold my calls is the same place I bought puts. All right, just same levels, wash, rinse, repeat. Because at this point, if we're gonna chop, we just gonna chop inside the same levels we've been chopping in. It's just the same levels being respected or not. So when we dumped, like I said, we just kind of chilled. Everything kind of lined up for where the bounce would be. So we took the calls, got out of the calls, got a little bit more. And then that end of day play was just puts. And they did go, I think like 300 some percent. But of course, I did not hold that long. See profit, I got to get out, man. I can't. So 90%, I don't know what I market sold at. I just got out of there. But let's go over the game plan. Let's go over, what to look for tomorrow. We do have PPI in the morning. I think jobless claims as well. So nothing really happened again. Let's go to the higher time frames, right? Just more inside candles. Inside candle, inside of another inside candle, inside of another inside candle. You know what I'm saying? So we just been inside. That's why I told y'all to be easier to just play that opening range, right? From here to here. Right? That's all you had to do. That's really all you had to do. Buy the puts up here or buy the calls down here. Because remember, what have I been telling y'all? If we're going to stay inside of a range, right? If you're going to play it, make sure that you're playing safely. So that requires buying time. Right, that's why I said we bought 1 DTEs down here, and then we ended up playing the zeros for the quick little push, right? Because when everything's getting chopped up, all contracts, both sides, are slowly just getting theta decay because we're not going anywhere, right? So the best way to play it is to, if you are going to wait, play, like I said, play the sweep or whatever, buy time, instead of just buying zeros. Of course, at the beginning of the day, like I said, it was a little easier because we already had the entire range already mapped out. So once we hit trigger, boom, outputs. That was it. No more puts, right? And then we just kind of waited and chilled out. But we did end up going for the 1 DTs. Now the first set got stopped out. I'm not gonna lie. So first set got stopped out -10, and then we ended up getting back in right here, same candle. That candle right there got me. And then, but it's my fault though because I had an actual stop set only because I was doing stuff around the house. I didn't want to, normally if I'm watching it, I'll just wait for the level. But specifically in that moment, I'm like, all right, well, let me handle this real quick just in case I don't want to miss it. But it is what it is. We end up getting back in. Those end up going. Accidentally market sold all, but I ended up rolling into what I have 777 calls, and then I have 768 set of puts. So I'm kind of playing a little straddle here, a little straddle. Normally I don't, but it is what it is. Plus, like I said, this paid pretty nice today, and this play paid pretty nice too. So why not? Why not? Especially with the let me show you overall outlook of everything, right? Because it does look bullish still. Remember, look at the larger picture, right? What do we have? We have some sort of wedge, right? Which you could call it a bull flag. You can call it really whatever you want. But we also have somewhat of a kind of more broadening formation. So if this is going to be bullish, then PPI or whatever will kind of send us up towards that 778, possibly take out a new high, right? That's what it'll do if we are actually bullish. But if we're not, then this was just a trap, right? Because realistically, we should have held here and went up today, right? Technically, if we're bullish, that's what I was thinking. So that's why I kind of put added the other side, because if we're not, then it's going to try to attempt to roll back down this way, right? Towards that 768 to 770, right? So that kind of like $2 range, kind of where we bounced from over here, right? So we did bounce it the first time. We bounced again today, but if we get down there again, we probably won't bounce again, right? And we'll finally come out and take this place. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Be a lot easier to the downside, because like I said, upside, it is, it's a lot harder. That's why in the video I was like, if you want to play upside, buy time, because this is very scary, because we're not getting any confirmation. We had, initial rejection, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5, right? We had 5 rejections of 775, but we've also had, 5 or however many supports of 772. So it's a tight range, right? So that's why I've been telling y'all, just be patient. And even today, once we hit that main target, it was easier to just stop trading, right? Told y'all, look, just chill, relax, right? Because we already knew, well, upper range, lower range. So we knew eventually we'd take this out. So set alerts, right? And then we got the alert when it happened in that candle. Look, right? Happened in one candle. We were able to get out, and then that was pretty much it, right? Until, like I said, we just happened to reclaim that 772.5. And then we took the 773s, and then we kind of rolled out. All right, so the upside is going to be a little scary. Also because, like I said, VIX is in that area where we do kind of get those pops at, right? We're sub 15, and the dollar's kind of rising a little bit too, So when the dollar rises, we might be getting a little pullback. Not like a crazy sell-off. Again, I'm not saying the market's going to crash and this is all fake. I'm just saying that we still got to be mindful of this, somewhat flaggy or bull flag, if you want to call it a bull flag, whatever you want to call it. But just this channel, right, when the dollar's in. So if the dollar does continue to rise, I am expecting it to kind of, reattempt to claim that one-on-one again, or at least even if it makes a lower low, right? I mean, a lower high. So either way, I'd like to see some action, I want to see something, man. I'm tired of this chop. It's kind of getting boring. But it's really been a lot easier to play end of day, to be honest with you. We've been smacking on SPX. Nothing's been happening during the day, and then you get one move, and then it's just chop, and then it's that SPX in the day. And it's the same kind of strategy, I guess, as playing any other thing. It just moves faster. That's why I don't really call those out, right? I will if I'm live teaching a student. Like today, I had one earlier while I was on the mentorship, and we caught one together live. But other than that, I still wouldn't, be like, oh, hey, let's do this. Like, I'll let you know if it's a lotto, but at the end of the day, the volatility comes in. So it's like, I'm not really, worried about too much about entry or none of that stuff. I'm just trying to get in, because if I'm looking for a specific level, then I don't really care what the contract costs. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really it's a lot more of a gamble than any other normal position. So like this one today, we had rejection here, and then we broke here. But the reason why we didn't go calls is because it didn't do what? Breakout retest, right? So this is why our stop was up here, just in case it was a breakout retest. But we could afford a lower high at some point, right, to come back and take out that psychological level. So because it played out smooth, all we had to do was just wait, right? Wait, and then boom. As soon as that triggered, got in right there, all right? And then just a little bit of drawdown. SPX does move a little while, so it was a little bit of drawdown. But then it just boom, and then boom, wicked out. Right, but I sold. I ain't gonna lie, I sold here during the first push because SPX. You got to. So sold, and it still ended up going down pretty crazy. So if I would have held it, but like I said, it's SPX. So the strategy is a little different than it is, and that's why it's easier for me to go over that like live with students, because it's, I can try to explain it now, but it's not open, so you can't really refer to what I'm saying. Versus if it was live and I'm like, hey, you see how this is doing this? Usually, what I'm saying, stuff like that. So. Yeah, and then that 50 candle, that 50 candle, yeah, where's it at? Right here, that 250 candle. Once I seen that wick, I said, oh yeah, we're in there. I already knew it, we're in there. So, but you know how it goes. But we're still, like I said, nothing's really happening, right? We're not picking the direction just yet. So whatever bias I may have or you may have or whatever, it don't really matter, because we're not going anywhere, right? We're flat in the middle of this range pretty much, 771.5. That's the middle of the range. So I mean, we're above it. We're in the buy side of it, but we had one upper wick, two upper wicks, and now three upper wicks. All of them with lower highs. But higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So it basically just means that it's getting tight, right? So when you have those problems, it's just a matter of time, right? What do I say? Time will tell. So if time will tell, then what you rushing for? You know what I'm saying? What's the point of stressing the outcome that you can't even control? If you can't control it, then you got to leave it up to the markets, you know? So in this case, and any other case, the last time we did this, right? Let's go back in history and see. Last time we had a little chop right about here. All right, it was the first time after that crazy move where we finally got a little pullback. And everybody's like, oh, it's the top, it's the top, it's the top. And we kind of just didn't go anywhere. Right? We didn't. We had a few false breakout, it seemed like, and then it kind of did it again, kind of like today. Like it gapped up just to sell off. And then the next day it did it one more time, and then we finally took off. So, you know, I mean, it can chop. It can take a while. Who knows? But it's just a matter of time, right? Just a matter of time. Time will show you, and time will tell. So you don't have to guess. You don't have to rush. You just wait for key areas, key levels, right? We already got our levels. So if you got your levels, what can you say? What we talking about then? What we talking about then? Then I ain't say nothing, man. What we talking about then? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just breathe, man. Y'all gotta breathe. Y'all gotta catch a vibe. Y'all gotta do some breathing exercises or something. Right? Y'all be hyped up. First candle of the day. It's dumping. I'm full 40. I'm like, bro, relax. Y'all be scaring me a little bit. So I'm like, bro, y'all gotta breathe. But yeah, man, just watch out for this rejection zone. This whole kind of area, clearly 775 to 773. And this is another reason why I said, you know, we like those puts on SPX as well, because we, as you can see, we start to top out here, topped out here, topped out there, topped out there, topped out there. So it's like, all right, if we ain't gonna go, you know, and we're up at all-time highs, so you have to remember that as well. If we're not gonna go up and we're at all-time highs, there's only one thing we can do, right? And that's come down. So if this little rising support doesn't hold, this is where I'd be looking for. So let's say tomorrow, boom, we gap down right about here. I still wouldn't just blindly short this here, right? Because they can just open it back up and then use that as a squeeze to get back above, right? To kind of, I guess, like finish this sort of wedge, right? Be a nice little trap under here. So if they do kind of hold in here and it starts to reclaim 770 and push, you know, it's probably going to look for a nicer move, right? Or like I said, they can just keep it inside of here in general. All right, let's say they want to just keep it inside here. They can just keep it, squeeze it all the way till about the 19th. You know what I'm saying? So if they want to just keep squeezing, they really can. But yeah, just draw your support, draw your resistance, and just wait. You know what I'm saying? Just let it play out. You're gonna have to anyway, right? Whether you're in it or not. And you'd rather wait for a good position than to jump the gun and be dead wrong. And then now you like, oh man, if I would have just, you know what I'm saying? We all have that. If I would have just, too late, man. Oh man, bro, if I would have just, you know what I'm saying? So instead of having those regrets, just, you know, think about it beforehand and be like, nah, last time I jumped the gun, I got smoked. So, you know, remember your mistakes, journal them, you know, punish yourself if you need to, whatever you need, whatever you do, you know what I'm saying? Just to remind yourself that, like, hey, this was a bad loss. I don't want to do this again, right? If you blew your account, be like, man, I blew my account last time doing this same behavior, same mistakes. I'm not going to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So just remember why you're doing this. And, yeah, there's no need to gamble, right? Because remember, opportunity will present itself. Consolidation. Excuse me, I sneeze. But consolidation leads to what? Expansion. So if we're going to consolidate, even if it's to the downside, right? Even let's say they pop it tomorrow, maybe we sweep the high and then still go down. Either way it goes, right? It's going to be okay, because as long as you are patient with time, you'll see, right? Even today, I know it seemed like it was just a lot of candles and all this and this, but look, even if you got rid of the wicks, right? What do we talk about? So the first open candle right here, we have that opening print. And then look, just mute everything for a second. Look. See? That's all we did. Basically what we talked about. Regardless of how many wicks, it doesn't really matter, right? The candles still did what they're supposed to do. The candle still came down, right? Trapped, break down, retest, break down, retest, break down, bottomed out, right, at the support level, broke out, retest, broke out, retest, 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 break out again, and then failure, breakdown, retest, right? So as you can see, it's not that crazy, you know, when you turn off the wicks, when you kind of just lower all the noise, right? Go to the higher time frames, and then it'll start to make more sense, right? And just remember to always kind of be adjusting your viewpoint, right? Because you don't want to get married to a position and then the position ends up wrong, right? Just because you didn't do your due diligence, right? Or you didn't check this and go look at this. Because, I mean, you know, based on candle closures, as I said, we are still above the buy, you know, level. So no matter how the wicks look and all that good stuff, like, yeah, I'm noticing, I'm peeping it, but I'm not really like, oh, we have an upper wick, can't go higher. Because remember what we talked about, it depends on where the wick is placed. Let's say we're at support and we get a candle like this. You get a candle like this, right? Red candle. Most people are going to be like, oh, yeah, buyers are done, it's over with. But if this is support, you know, if we're at a support level, then this candle right here will go, and this candle right here, as long as it can hold the bottom, right? As long as it can test the bottom, as long as that, you know, the lower wick holds, it's going to try to reattempt to test those, you know, clear out this wick, at least most of it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be aware of wherever certain things are, because that same candle, if this was resistance, then it would mean a whole lot more, right? If this was below a level and we had an upper wick like this, then it would be flipped on the other side, right? It'll be like you have a little wick that doesn't go, and then it'll clear out lower. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you just gotta put in chart hours, and you'll kind of, you know, peep these things, because this isn't something that you just, you know, nobody learns this stuff in an instant. You know, we're not just like, oh, a couple days we got it. You know, it's a constant journey. You're always learning more. You're always experiencing new things. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for a good long time. I never seen no rally like this. So I didn't expect this one 9 weeks straight. Didn't expect it. But hey, you live, you adapt, you learn, you know. So yeah, keep it cool, keep it patient. Don't rush, don't trip. You know, remember, no one's forcing you to trade anything. If you get into a trade, that's on you. You know, so no one's forcing you. Just relax. You know, especially if people are we're already telling you like, hey, probably relax today, probably chill today. You know, stuff like that. Then just be like, okay, maybe they know something I don't know. You know, especially to a lot of the new traders who feel like, nah, I just gotta, you know, I just need to make one. If it's not being presented, then you're taking on, you know, a big risk by doing that. So yeah, just make sure y'all are confirming your levels and all that good stuff, because remember, you can have all the confluence you think you want and all the whatever, you know, indicate whatever you want, but if the charts don't agree with it, it's just not gonna work. All right, I know, you know, we have certain things that are ingrained in our head, like, oh, we always buy every time off the 200. You know, a good rule of thumb, you know, especially when it goes hand in hand with certain levels. But if that's all you're using, it's just like, oh, 200, gonna buy, then, you know, when it fails you, don't be surprised, like, oh, but we bounced. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people who are just kind of like, they're more so mad with the markets because the markets didn't do what they thought the market should do. So it's like, what? We bounced off this? We were supposed to break through it. Like, I mean, you know, who are we to say what the market's supposed to do and not do? You know, if it's gonna be choppy, like, it's just gonna chop. Whether we complain, whether we don't like it, whether we, what are they doing? This is so manipulated. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this was manipulated. Market's always been a little manipulated, right? So we just mark it off. We chill. Got that little breakout retest. Boom. You know, we made us some money. It did take a long time of chop, but what do we talk about? Whenever we're in bullish markets, any kind of sell off is going to be easy to spot because it's going to be quick, right? The initial sell off up here when we hit 775, very easy to spot. It was quick. But just like the last time we popped up, if the market's not just full blown reversing, then remember, everyone wants this, but not enough people are patient enough for this right here. So if this is what we are in, then we got to either wait for this, right? Confirmation to the downside, or if we're going to go, just wait for it. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be confirmed. So this is actually good to see. You want to see this, because then when the move happens, let's say we get it tomorrow, boom, breakout, retest. Now we can kind of just buy calls and swing them. You know what I'm saying? Measure that move, you know, and then 7-9, whatever, you know, buy some time and let them play out, because that's kind of what we did here. Once we finally broke out, we had 1 DTEs and those went 500%. They went up thousands of percent, but you know, we sold for 500%. So it's just a matter of time and patience. So give yourself time, be very patient, relax, breathe, and keep God first. And remember, this is as simple as you make it. If you complicate this, it'll be complicated. But you keep it simple, it'll be simple. So, yeah, man, y'all know where to find me. All links in the description. I think that's about it. I don't really think there's nothing else I'm really watching. But tomorrow's Thursday, so, you know, we'll see how the data reacts with PPI and all that good stuff. So, yeah, remember, people react bearish. You still got to be a little hesitant. You know what I'm saying? We got to lose this 670 for sure, right? And then take out that low. So this to here, you probably could take this little move right here. But the main one, obviously, we lose this, then we kind of come into the zone. So downside, like I said, it's going to be a little easier just because we do have a lot more lower targets. Upside, once we kind of clear 775, yeah, you know, all-time high, I guess. So screw it. Let's go to 780 tomorrow. Screw it. I don't care. But yeah, I'll see y'all. That's it. And stay blessed. Peace.